All right, man. Today is Tuesday. It's April 12th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. It's Eddie. It's Chief. Big studio today, doing some renovations in the old one. So
it's chaos in that studio right now.
There's a lot going on. But we'll be back there soon enough. I think, or at some point.
I mean, the big blackjack table is in the hallway.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, it's there's a lot going on, and there was just a lot of people from HQ in the office. So.
Yep.
It was just a chaotic week, I guess, last week.
Definitely was. I didn't know there was probably 15 people here from HQ in for the Masters. So,
and I feel like everyone is like, oh, I can't believe that office is so big. It's like, dude, it's not that big.
I would say it's big, but in terms of usable space, doesn't have a lot. It's spread out, but there's only 2 studios.
There's a lot of square footage.
Yes,
but there's, I don't know, the way it's built, there's just not as much. I
think it's perfect for what we need.
Correct. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. But when you get that many people in here,
it's I remember thinking there's been rumors of expansion or other people moving here, and it's just bring them in, and then it's nope, we're gonna do a new office.
Yeah,
there's no way it could fit even twice the amount of people.
I love this place though; it's great. Yeah. We're in the big studio. I also want to say a couple news and notes, programming notes for this show. So I've been alluding to things changing up, and I think it's going to change this week. So I think we are chopping off a day.
Ooh, officially?
Yes, officially. Okay. So this show has been Monday through Friday since its inception in January 2019. I think Fridays are gone now. I think it's going to be Monday through Thursday show.
Okay.
I'm going to change it up. That doesn't mean the true crime's totally gone. Allie's still going to be coming in here once in a while, and we'll do a couple of those a month and just air it on Thursday. But
that's the new plan.
Yes, that's the new plan right now.
I think that's probably good for your well-being.
Yeah, it's good.
As a guy who does Redline, Rundown, Portnoy, 4 days of this, you got another show coming out soon.
Yes. So it's just a combination of factors. Daily show, that's a long time. This was the only daily show on Barstool's platform, I believe. I know Menahan did it at one point, but he's been 3 days a week for a while.
Yep.
And I know, and it started as 15 to 20 minutes, but anyone who listens, that it's exceeds that now.
When did you stop adhering to that?
Probably once the drafts really started kicking, because then it's all right, you're not going to cut those off, except at the beginning we did. It was only 20 minutes, if you remember, which is crazy to think about.
Now they're easy hour and a half.
Yeah, easy. Easy.
Yeah.
And I was all right, people are still listening to that, so if we want to go a little longer on this, it is what it is.
Yep.
But yeah, doing that, Redline, Dave Portnoy show, and a new show that I'm going to announce very soon. That should be cool. That just decided to chop off a day.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, and it might be 2 days chop. I don't know, but right now we're starting with one.
Okay.
So just putting it out there. I know. Listen, I get a lot of people that say they like the crime stuff, and I appreciate it. And it's not going away totally. So I'm sorry if people will be upset that it won't be as frequent, but that's just the way it's going to be. But so that's a little pseudo State of the Union.
Okay.
I should have announced yesterday's draft, but it feels weird.
The drafts are long enough.
Yeah, it's I know, and it's
Yeah.
And then White Sox, it was opening day for White Sox Dave, and then he
left.
Yeah, I don't want too many questions from him. Just a lot going on.
Yeah. I also feel like there are people who are draft listeners, and then there's dog walk listeners. So that's almost makes more sense to do it now.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest day of the week by far.
Yep.
But yeah, that's just the way it's going to be. So this day's not going anywhere. We'll still be Tuesdays, and maybe.
Good. I'm not fired.
No.
Yeah.
You're still in. Then we'll still be doing some doc reviews. Blue collar interviews are coming back, which I'm very happy and excited about.
Weird interviews.
Yes. So mixture of that, true crime, free swims, doc review. So everything's pretty much staying the same. It's just a day is chopped off. And, it'll help you out, free up some podcast queue, which hopefully you listen to my new show on that day or your empty day.
Yeah. So you're free up some podcast queue, slide it right back in with more Eddie.
Exactly. Before we really kick it off, though, I do want to say thank you to Roman for always sticking with this show and supporting it. So you guys know the drill by now. If you have a drill or you think you have a drill, it's not
good enough.
Probably not. It's probably not good enough.
Yeah, you got to use Roman.
Yeah. It's probably factually not good enough. So
it is mating season now too. This weather's getting a little warmer. People are going to be out and about. Your opportunities are going to be more plentiful. That's a Barstool Chief guarantee. Your opportunities will be more plentiful starting in April and May. You're going to want to have those Roman swipes.
I like that. So that's a Chief guarantee. So that means you should give your woman a Roman guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
Roman swipes, they're the secret to longer lasting sex. They are a clinically proven way to last longer in bed. They're effective, easy to use, and they're fast acting but don't require a prescription. Roman can ship the swipes to you in discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipe packet is small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. They're super easy to use. Just take the swipe out of the packet, swipe it on, let it dry, and you're good to go. That's it. Go to GetRoman.com/dogwalk to get $10 off when you choose a monthly plan. That's GetRoman.com/dogwalk. One more time, GetRoman.com/dogwalk. Go do it. Get the swipes, people. Roman's a great company, great product. Go support them. All right, Chief. What's the drill today?
This is going to be more along the lines of a what they do, okay? But it's a group of people, and they're referred to as the PayPal Mafia. Okay, this is a group of people who are, the original employees of PayPal. And there's some names you know, some names you don't know, and the things that they've created since they left PayPal. So we'll do a little bit of the history of that company and where those people came from, and then really about where they went and what they went on to. Because if you add up the combined net worth of the founding members of PayPal, this PayPal Mafia, $310 billion.
A lot of money.
A lot of money, a lot of zeros.
A lot of bills.
I would say that this company and these founders have probably changed America and changed the world in your daily life more than anybody else you'll ever come across. Like when I was reading what these people did afterwards, and this is another listener suggestion that we look into this, it is astounding that all these things were basically born out of this small group of people. So we'll kind of get into that.
All right, beautiful. I'm excited. Obviously, I know one of the guys we talked about last week. I know.
Yeah, so we're kind of following up with that. So it was Musk, and Musk is, I guess there's just way more to him. I guess you could say that, but anyway, more to him than I realized. I thought he was like, he was this guy who founded PayPal, this and that. He was like a prodigy from the time he was a little kid. He built a software, sold it for several $1 million, built a video game platform, sold it for, I think he was like 18 or something like that, and sold one of his creations for like $44 million. So like he's been an inventor, innovator, brilliant, genius business guy, basically forever. As long as he's been around. And then in 1999, so like kind of at the peak of the first internet boom, he created something called X.com. And X.com was basically the first ever fully online bank. And he's from South Africa, and on the other side of things, on the other side of the world, Peter Thiel, which is another name that people might know from this list. He's been in the news a lot over the last 15 years or so. He
is he's the Hogan guy. He's the Hulk Hogan sex tape Gawker guy.
Right.
That's how I know Peter Thiel.
So Peter Thiel, he's that. Well, you want to just tell that story real quick?
Yeah. Sorry if I jumped in.
No, that's good.
But so Peter Thiel had a big problem with the news outlet Gawker because they'd always write shit about him, and I think because he's gay.
Yep.
And I think they might have maybe outed him or something like that. They wrote a lot of articles about him being gay that were obviously wrong and super fucked up.
Yep.
And so he had an axe to grind, and when Gawker posted Hulk Hogan's sex tape, he basically funded Hogan's attorneys and whatnot, and then took down the outlet because he just hated them so much.
An unbelievable spite move.
Oh, unbelievable.
All time. I love it. I love it. Okay. So Peter Thiel and this guy from University of Illinois, his name is, I want to get his name right, it's Max Levchin. They created something called Confinity, and Confinity they were looking around the landscape. Okay, maybe your dad had one. I think I remember my dad had one of those, like the early Palm Pilots.
Oh hell yeah!
Okay,
yeah.
So
those things are so funny to look.
They're crazy
to
look at. They had the little pen, the little plastic pen that you could touch the different things on. But the Palm Pilots in the mid to late 90s were like a big innovation. It was like the first handheld device that could connect to the internet. You can check your email, you can do all sorts of things on there. And it was a revolutionary technology. It's a precursor to the iPhone. And these guys were like, wow, now that we have basically peer-to-peer internet connection just in the palm of your hand, we should come up with a way to securely transfer money. And that's what they were going for. And that's kind of what Elon Musk was going for as well, with his it's just the letter X.com. And they were struggling to make money, struggling to get users, and they were doing all these crazy things where it's like if you sign up, and they created eventually those two companies merged, and PayPal was part of that. Okay, so you had they were competitors, and then Thiel and Musk and their partners merged X.com and Confinity and created PayPal, became like the new kind of marketed name. And PayPal was, and I vaguely remember this too, that if you sign up for PayPal, they just give you $10. And if you refer somebody to PayPal, you get $10. Okay, so that's how they were really, like, they were using that as a marketing thing, trying to get people in, get their user base up. But they were hemorrhaging money because they're giving away, like, I think it was something like $100,000 a day. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's a lot. That's a lot of money to just carry. But there was another revolutionary technology going around that first phase of the internet called eBay. Okay, and eBay was, back then, they were a merchant, and then but it was a merchant that was, it's not like you're going to Target. It's really just, hey, Ed, I like your fucking thermos over there. I'll give you $20 for it. You're like, okay. But you never had, the individuals on eBay never had enough buying power to be considered a merchant themselves and be able to do online banking the way Chase or these big retailers would be able to. So it's like, you want that thermos? Okay, we agree. It's basically, you have like a handshake deal over the internet. I'm going to write you a check and send it to you in the mail. Okay, this is how eBay was working. And then you would get that check, and then you would package up that thermos and send it to me, and that's the transaction. So there was no immediacy of it. Everything took a long time, and it was like
probably chaos.
Right?
Bouncing checks, people not sending shit.
That's one of those. That's one of those things about eBay where it's like, I've heard a theory somewhere that the most important resource a country or a community can have is trust. Where it's like, and that's, eBay is a great example of that, where it's like how this company thrived when it's like, just, you can't ever see anything or even the person in person, and it's like, I'm going to trust you that you're going to send me money, and I'm going to send you this item, and the money's going to be good, and the item's not going to be shit, is just unbelievable. And you look at a place like Japan. Okay, Japan has almost no natural resources, but they're one of the best economies in the world historically because people always trust them. So they're just a good faith partner. That's just baked into their culture. So they're able to leverage that into being a successful economy, even though they don't have the resources of some other places that, the Middle East or, Nigeria or these places or Venezuela that have tremendous natural resources. Japan has a way better economy because the most important export that they have is trust. So that's interesting. But that basically, PayPal.
Well, that was crucial though when PayPal introduced the feedback system.
Yep.
Like, I don't know how long I assume that came later in its inception.
Probably.
You're familiar with that, right?
Yeah,
Obviously.
I remember that. Yep.
Where it's like people look at your history to see like, oh, the people you got like have to write a review.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
It's almost like Airbnb or like your Uber score, like you.
Yeah.
Like
but whereas I think that's more,
frivolous.
Up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think eBay was like mandatory. If you do a deal, you have to
put it.
Yeah, like even if it's just like
I now that you say it that way, I remember that too.
Which is crucial.
Yeah, you have to because you have to have that like trust economy.
Yeah,
and so basically they came up with and PayPal is still, I guess, regarded as the safest, most private, most secure way to send money. They are also the ones like the guy Max Levchin, I want to say. He's one, the CAPTCHA thing where it's like, look at these images, look at this word, these scrambled numbers and letters. That was born out of that CAPTCHA idea to prevent automatic fraud or prevent fraud or people just, trying to snake all your information was born out of PayPal. And it's still considered, the safest, most secure, kind of a revolutionary technology, like the most safe way to transfer money before the blockchain.
Is that better than, or do you prefer that over click the 3 sailboats in the picture or whatever?
So I hate those ones. I hate those ones where you click on all the trains, click on all the stoplights.
Dude, it's like, I swear, sometimes you get them right and it like doesn't.
Well, sometimes it's like bleeding into the next little quadrant. And you're like, well, is it in this one or is it not? Because it's only like the front right bumper, and I don't know if that counts as this train or this truck or school bus being in this one or not. So yeah, I hate those ones. But those guys came up with that, and that really revolutionized eBay. So it's like, hey, we can do the peer-to-peer, safe, secure, easy transactions that will speed up this process. And it worked. So they because eBay, so before when they were still paying people $10 to use PayPal, they were like hemorrhaging money and you weren't getting a lot of multiple transactions. You got the eBay user base involved, which I think at its peak was like 2.6 million people. And making billions of dollars of transactions a year, all of that being funneled through PayPal suddenly made a very viable technology. So even though they had done nothing but lose money while they were creating critical mass, they had value because they were providing the service that was catching on. They decided to go public, and they
PayPal or eBay?
PayPal.
Okay.
And PayPal goes public. They make, I think their IPO was worth like $66 million. So that like allowed them to hire more people and grow. And then a year later, eBay, because eBay had tried to come up with their own peer-to-peer, their own like PayPal system inside of eBay. And it was okay, but it was like, you know what? This is not as good as PayPal. Let's just buy PayPal. So they offered PayPal a year after that IPO for $66 million. eBay buys PayPal for $1.5 billion. And that created this amount of wealth. Elon was the biggest shareholder at the time. I think he got like $117 million after taxes. Peter Thiel got like $40 million. A lot of these, original, like this PayPal Mafia now had like their big nut, their first like big nut. And Elon had other money, obviously, like I said before, but this was like his, a really big chunk of change that allowed this original group to go out and create all of these new. So it's like you have this group of people, and it's like you create one revolutionary idea. Like that's kind of what you're known for, right?
Yeah.
If you look historically, it's like Bill Gates did software. He did Microsoft. Steve Jobs did hardware. He did the Mac and the iPhone. So maybe he did more, but they're all basically he did hardware. Okay. Same thing with Rockefeller. Rockefeller was oil. These guys were like, we're coming up with basically an online transaction banking system. And then they all left. And then they all went off and created even more iconic, huge, multi-billion-dollar companies. And I'm going to go through the list here, okay?
And I feel like, can I say too right now, what a great deal by eBay. That feels like a bargain now.
For PayPal now, yeah. Well, I was wondering about that too, and maybe we could do like a little blog follow-up or something, but does anyone use PayPal anymore? Because I feel like Venmo has eaten them alive.
Yes, people do use PayPal.
And there's
still.
Zelle, there's all sorts
there's
of
Zelle, there's Cash App.
Yep.
People still definitely do use it.
Okay.
But I don't know like
what their market share
is
now.
I believe they're still with eBay, and I don't know how big eBay is anymore. But
I don't know how big eBay is anymore, but it feels like it's definitely not as big as it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like they kind of got swallowed by the internet too. Like they were like a giant.
Amazon almost, but
kind of, yeah.
But then again, they're kind of better. They're kind of in a better situation because they're more like used shit that like you can't find.
Yeah,
like if I wanted to find like a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt, like specific one from like 1997, I'd go to eBay. I wouldn't go to Amazon.
I think of eBay and Etsy as like the same.
Okay.
Similar type of marketplace, but
I don't get on the old Etsy enough. But
I feel like when I search for like very specific like shirts or whatever, that's like the Google search results pull me into Etsy. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I've ever purchased anything off of Etsy, but I'm familiar with what they are.
Bought a hat from them once.
Okay.
I'm excited to hear this list, but before we get into it, I do want to say that. Well, we're talking about better ways to do things, and online. There is a better way for you to get your ADHD medication.
Tell me about it.
And that's with Innovative Care.
Yep.
Okay. So it's time to switch to Innovative ADHD, everybody. Innovative is a real medical clinic, not one of those online-only refill services. They're based here in Chicago, and these are medical providers you can trust. You'll definitely want to use them for your ADHD management, but you can also turn to Innovative for other things related to primary care or urgent care. Nobody has the time for extra doctor visits, so simplify your ADHD management with Innovative. After your initial appointments, you can see the provider virtually through telemedicine, which is great. Nobody wants to go to the doctor anymore. If you're working from home, you just, boom, bake that into your calendar, pop on, and it's just a smooth, simple process. So it saves you time. So get online, get your medication refill, and get back to your life. Innovative ADHD accepts insurance for evaluations and medication refills. Only rule here is you must be a resident of Illinois. And the great part about them is they do take insurance, and a lot of other places don't. So go to innovativeadd.com to sign up and start being smarter about getting your medication for ADHD. So go do that. All right. Now I am officially ready.
You're ready.
Okay.
List. So we'll start with the, obviously there's Elon, right? So now he's, did you hear today, or it came out, we're late Sunday night, that he's like, I'm actually not joining the board of Twitter?
Yes, which is very fishy.
What's up with that?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
But because he won't stop tweeting about Twitter, but he's also like, I'm not joining the board. And then
he's got a fucking seat.
Well, they offered him a seat and he turned it down, according to Parag.
He has a unofficial seat.
I wonder if he's like, you know what, a seat's not good enough. Let me rally to be chairman of the board. I wonder if
would he want that though?
To be chairman of the board? I think if you're chairman of the board, you could walk in and say, hey, Parag, you're fucking out, man.
Yeah, but dude, I feel like Elon, what excites him is space and new fucking car innovation, and I guess like it's a totally different realm for him to be involved in the, as he would call it, the public town square.
The public square.
I don't know. It just seems it's just not his.
Yeah.
It's not fucking. It's not techie and nerdy. I don't know. It's not.
I think it probably is though.
Is it though?
I think it probably when you get into if you get into the algorithms.
Yeah, but the
and
challenge it faces, the true challenge of it is like how it's fucking poisoning society.
Yes.
And that's not something he has expertise in.
But he's opinionated in it.
He is.
So if he recognizes that this thing can shape the public discourse, and he's like, I want to have an open source algorithm to show what news gets suppressed and what news gets elevated. He could do that. He could find a way to better monetize it. He's coming up with, like, he had a tweet about the Twitter Blue, which is $3 a month, and
it's like everyone should be verified if they get it.
Yeah.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I guess it's not like unlike any other things. I mean, hey, if you're rich enough and you say, hey, I want to do this someday, you can do that.
Yeah.
It's like buying a fucking baseball team.
Yeah. So like, I think you could buy a baseball team, or you could try to change the world.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you going to do? He's trying to change the world.
I'd buy the baseball team.
Me too. Fuck that. I'd probably, I don't know about a baseball team, but I would buy I would buy a sports team. Yeah. But we'll start with Peter Thiel, because I mentioned him earlier. He's one of the founders, of this. He was Confinity, whatever. He started a hedge fund, and he started this. That hedge fund was an early investor. If you've seen the movie Social Network, they were like the earliest angel investor into Facebook. So he made a gazillion dollars off of that deal. He also founded a software company called Palantir, 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 market cap of $26 billion. Okay, giant fucking company. That's Peter Thiel. So in addition to backing Hulk Hogan legally and taking down Gawker and running them into the fucking ground with legal fees for revenge, which we love, he did the PayPal, he did Facebook, he did his planter. Who knows what else he did? He is a huge name in Silicon Valley. He's a guy who I want to say in 2016 was a keynote speaker at the Republican National Convention. He's a guy who is definitely a player in American everything, global technologies, and then in politics too. So big money. Next guy on the list, PayPal Mafia. We'll go to Jeremy Stompelman and another guy named Russell Simmons. Okay, so they're part of the original PayPal crew. They founded a little website called Yelp. Ever heard of it?
I have.
Okay, so they did Yelp. Yelp is obviously synonymous with restaurant reviews. They're a huge company, and it's basically like an advertising company is their model. Essentially, you leave reviews, restaurants get on there, blah blah blah. They've made a gazillion dollars off of that. There's another guy named Reid Hoffman. Reid Hoffman was, I want to say he was the CMO of PayPal and chief marketing guy, and he probably looked over and saw, oh man, Peter Thiel, he made a great investment with Facebook. I have an idea for a social network. He came up with LinkedIn. Okay, so he's the co-founder of LinkedIn. I think everybody knows what LinkedIn is at this point, professional networking platform. I think it's something like the 30th most visited website in the world. Okay, is LinkedIn? Believe it or not,
that's crazy.
Isn't that
dude.
crazy? So
I don't know.
Yeah, were you ever a big LinkedIn guy?
No, I mean I had one, and I would update it and whatnot, but
Yeah.
I would, not really. I mean, thankfully with this job, you don't
don't need it
have
at
to
all
be
now.
anymore,
Yeah,
but,
that was one of those things where we've probably talked about this before, but I definitely had LinkedIn, and I used it for research for potential customers and clients and things like that. And then you could buy the upgrade, the sales platform, for it was $24.99 a month was the option that I got. I think there was more expensive ones too, and that allowed you to send messages to people you don't follow. Blah blah blah. I forgot I was paying it. I forgot I had it until late 2020. So I've been in this job for almost 2 years, been paying $25 a month to LinkedIn for nothing. But that's LinkedIn. Okay. Obviously there's Elon. Okay. Elon, SpaceX, Tesla, Twitter, one of the most famous people in the world now. He was obviously one of those founders.
Richest too, right?
I think he's worth $21 billion, something like that. That guy, I feel like he's starting to get hated on, and I just don't understand it.
I think people are getting pissed at him because he's kind of fucking with the stock market.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I know, he
but who doesn't fuck with the stock market?
Yeah, but
tell me Ken Griffin doesn't fuck with the stock market.
But him doing it publicly, I guess, is what
Yeah, you'd rather have people do it behind closed doors and nobody knows about it.
I mean, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying.
I know you're not saying
my
that.
interpretation is that's what the issue is. Remember when he tweeted about Bitcoin? The Bitcoin people lost their minds. And he tweeted about that Doge, and it took
tweeted about Doge last night too.
Yeah, there's so many he sets people ablaze.
Yeah,
and if you're gonna fuck around like that with people's money, people are gonna be.
If you're doing but I guess my thing is let's say that he hasn't been really cited by the SEC for anything. I don't believe, but. Those if you pay attention, it's all who are the Robin Hood guys and Steve Cohen, those Ken Griffin, those guys fuck with the economy more than anybody.
Oh, totally.
So Elon just is tweeting things, and the market reacts because he's got 80 million followers, but it's he's not I don't think that's a reason to hate him. We're this is a guy who took something that was deemed impossible, making a long range electric car. There is a reason why Ford Chevy, Toyota, all these companies, GM, didn't do it. They thought it was impossible. He said, I don't think it's impossible. I'm going to make an electric car that works and build the infrastructure for it.
Is that fact, though, or were they in bed with big oil?
Probably, maybe a little bit of both. Okay.
I have no knowledge on that, just for the record.
Yeah.
But it just sounds right.
But like they're they tried that. They did the hybrids.
Yeah.
Like there had been momentum for, electric cars or hybrids or flex fuels and all these different environmental projects in America and abroad for a long time, years. I remember hearing about global warming in the 90s, okay, that this is a thing that people need to take more seriously. And there was this market for it. Elon just like, I'm going to do it. And he did it with no real background in automotive at all and create a wildly successful company that is good for the planet, net. And then he took that car and strapped it to a rocket and sent it to outer space. How can you hate on a guy like that who's just like doing amazing things all the time? I feel like it's the same group of people who just hate on Tom Brady because he's got all the rings and a supermodel wife. It's the White Sox Daves of the world who want to just say like, this guy's no good and he's overrated, this and that. Like, they're not overrated. Like, they're hyper successful people. And Elon, like, is a guy who's, we want to be selfish billionaires, and buy a team. He's just like, no, I'm going to change the world.
Well, makes you think, too, if they didn't kill our boy with the water-powered car.
That was a way back one. We should revisit that at some point,
Could be a different situation.
Can't remember that guy's name.
I can't either, but that was a very interesting dog walk.
You're hearing more and more about, like, hydropower becoming a thing with automobiles, too.
I'm going to Google it real quick.
Okay, so that is, so we've done Elon with SpaceX, Tesla, and apparently now Twitter. Reid Hoffman, LinkedIn. Jeremy Stompelman and Russell Simmons with Yelp. We have Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Karim. They came up with something that has now become the second most visited website in the world on a daily basis.
Pornhub.
Close.
That's number one, probably.
Google's number one.
Google's number, duh. But
yeah.
Do you count Google? It's not. It doesn't. It should not count.
It's a website.
It should not count, though. It's a search engine.
It's a website. It's Google.com.
I know, but it's a fucking search engine.
I was watching a show.
A website. You don't go there to read anything.
I was watching a show or a movie or something that was based. Oh, it was a movie. It was actually. You should watch this movie. We could probably do a dog walk about this. It's called like Blackwater or Deepwater, and it's with Mark Ruffalo, and it's all about like DuPont Chemical was like making Teflon, like the nonstick pans, and like dumping the chemicals in waterways in West Virginia and just like killing the entire town and then like covering it up.
Not great.
But anyways, I was watching, there was a scene where this guy, who's a lawyer, and he's like doing a search on the internet. He's on Alta Vista, okay? Because it was Alta Vista and Yahoo were the search engines before Google. And then Google's like, we're just going to do that, but way better. And now Google's a verb, and everybody uses Google, and you think it's such a great website that it can't even count as a website.
I don't believe so.
It's a website.
No, but I just, it's a search. I don't know.
It's a website.
It's a good debate, though.
Yeah.
If John Daly's not a cocktail, Google's not a website. How about that, Harry?
That's crazy.
How about that?
That's crazy.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those guys, YouTube, Google eventually bought YouTube. So... And then there's other ones too, right? There's Peter Thiel, Declarium. You have Max Levchin. He came up with a company called Slide. There's like a lot of other companies that are worth billions of dollars that we probably use every day because they're different software things. The guy who created Squarespace, also from this PayPal Mafia. And that is how you get a collection of people who are worth $310 billion because you create YouTube, LinkedIn, Tesla, SpaceX, Squarespace, Yelp, and these different software companies underneath Peter Thiel. It's astounding to me that all these people went on to build like things that everybody that is probably listening to this uses every day.
Yeah, dude, that's some staying power too. Like I'm so high on YouTube.
YouTube's unbelievable.
YouTube's awesome.
It is.
It really is.
Like I almost feel like, you know, there's something that's like the literacy rate across the world's at an all-time high. And one of the reasons why it's at an all-time high is because the people from Warby Parker were donating reading glasses. So every pair of Warby Parker glasses you get, they donate a pair to some third world place that, you know, they can't afford glasses. So then if you don't have reading glasses, you don't have glasses, you can't see, you can't read. So they've really fixed that problem. And I feel like you could, through like education over YouTube, raise the literacy rate or the education rate all across the world. Because you can learn anything on YouTube. I don't know dick about cars. Yeah. I learned how to change out headlights, change my oil, and I just did all that because this is like maybe 6-7 years ago where money was very tight. I'm like, I'll just figure out how to do it myself. I just did it myself.
There's a lot of good stuff.
Through YouTube. You could learn anything through YouTube. And that is like, I think YouTube is like bigger deal than like the printing press. It's just like,
yeah, man.
You know?
And you know what I really give them props for as well is, have you noticed how many of these video services, streaming services, like they're everything sucks about it. Like it just lags and like the interface sucks.
Like
and
other competitors?
Yeah, like I'm trying to think what's
Vimeo.
No, Vimeo's actually not bad. I'm saying like
I don't think it's as good as like YouTube.
No, it's not
in terms
even
of
close.
like user
not
application.
even close.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of. I don't know. I'm trying to think of one that probably we don't have a sponsorship with. But you know what? Fuck it. We don't have any sponsorships on this for this show, anyways. But like HBO Max is not great.
Oh, you're talking about like streaming
Like
platforms?
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Tubi.
Tubi.
Brutal.
I don't know if I've used Tubi, but it's no good.
I use Tubi only when I have to, because if I like search a movie like on Comcast or something, it's like here's your viewing options. Like you can pay $3.99 to rent, or you can just watch it on Tubi. I'm like, fuck, give me Tubi.
Peacock's not great. I feel
Peacock's
like Hulu's
bad.
not great. Netflix is very good too. I give them
Netflix
credit
is good. Yeah, but it's like that's one of those things where it's like
pretty much anyone besides YouTube and Netflix like hasn't figured out a way to
their user interface to make it simple and easy.
Yeah,
YouTube's the best.
And just like make a consistent, clean video like with no buffering issues and shit. I don't know. There's just YouTube and Netflix have
they're the king.
Yes.
And YouTube, like
Paramount's rough.
Paramount's bad. And YouTube is just, there's just so much content. Like you can find literally anything you could ever want on YouTube. And I do. I look up shit on YouTube at least every day.
Oh yeah.
You know, doesn't matter if it's hockey highlights or a news. You know, I'm big on that Breaking Points show now. I use YouTube every single day, and I think most people probably do.
Same.
And it's you know, the fact that you got revolutionary technologies all being born out of like all these people were sitting in the same, like if you were going to have a conference, okay, you could have probably 30 people would be like, holy shit, they were, you know, like 30 people as like a keynote speaker at a conference. You could throw a dart and hit any one of these people in the PayPal Mafia and be like, they'd be great for that. Because they've all created such incredible things since leaving PayPal. It's just, it blows my mind that people can be like that successful and that creative and that innovative. And they were all at one point, they're all just, you know, basically guys kicking around ideas in like a small conference room. Nobody knew who they were. Now they're worth combined $310 billion. Insanity.
It is, man. It is. And it's just sharp guys, whether what your expertise is. If you hear a good idea, like then they pounce on it. You know?
And that's why
like, I mean, is this even confirmed that all this shit was their ideas? Or were they like, hey, all right, like this guy from fucking whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're certainly they were the majority shareholders at various points with these different companies. Like those three guys who founded YouTube, it was definitely, you know.
Yeah, because for instance, like I know you've talked to me about a company you would like to buy and invest in and make
Just the water company?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you said that publicly? I don't know.
I think so. I haven't said where it is or what it is.
But like if all right, if Elon Musk heard this and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this, Chief."
Yeah.
And like you were the whatever, and then it got big. Elon would be like, "Oh, he's a water guy," but really it was like Elon he did a lot for it because right now it's just an idea in your head for years.
Right.
But
hey,
you
Elon,
get what I'm saying?
Elon, you can take all the credit, man. You could take it. You want to give me? I think realistically, I would need $3 million to acquire this company, and another $3 million to like grow it. If you got $6 million laying around, Elon, you can add it to your repertoire. I'll be the guy in the back on the boat, being like, "Hey, it's all Elon. He did it all, man. He's a wizard."
Yeah.
But yeah, so and I think that is kind of maybe the point, is that when people talk about PayPal, they really talk about Elon and Peter Thiel, and then a little bit that guy Max Levchin. And Max Levchin was a guy who was born in the Soviet Union, moved to Chicago actually in like early 90s, and was at University of Illinois. University of Illinois, the people who created like the first web browser, that Netscape, and he, so that was like kind of a sneaky little like tech boom bubble there at Illinois for a little bit, and then people don't necessarily know him, but he doesn't fucking care. He's worth billions. I would love to be a guy that nobody knew who I was, because all the credit went to Elon, and I'm sitting back and I'm worth billions.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Of course.
And Elon is like he's just kind of like a little bit funny too. Like he's a little bit of a troll. Even the fact that he put a Tesla on a rocket ship is just like kind of funny. It's like, yeah, I'm doing both things.
I mean, he made a flamethrower because
felt like it.
I think it was because someone said he couldn't. I forget why he did it, and then he called it like not a flamethrower.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
that,
right.
And then he has like the Boring Company. Like he's got like a few other.
Yeah, I think that's where it made that.
Yeah, and then the other thing that people don't talk about with SpaceX. Okay, it's a reusable rocket that he sent into space. You know what costs like a little less than 1/10 of what the NASA rockets cost? Like, so he did it like way more economically and better than the best and brightest at NASA for 1/10 of the cost. That's fucking crazy too.
It is, dude.
So
it is.
So I don't know how you hate on that.
What a crew. It's always been good. It's always good to be, I
wonder if they have like reunions.
Yeah. And just like talk about everything.
Yeah. Like that. Cause people
caviar and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And because people always talk about like, oh, like, we're going to network. We're going to, they throw those buzzwords around. And it's like, can you imagine like this group chat?
Yeah.
Like they just have created basically everything we could ever need. We got an automotive guy, we got a social networking guy, we got a content creation platform with YouTube. They got fucking everything.
They do.
Yep.
They do. Yelp, LinkedIn, YouTube.
Yep.
It's Elon, crazy. Peter. That's crazy. It is. All right then. Thank you, Chief. That's the PayPal Mafia.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. That's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Really, really fun interview tomorrow.
Can't wait.
I'm excited for it.
I'm very excited for that too.
Get ready for tomorrow. We'll see you then.